You worry about keeping kayfabe? We can
A
do
little bit, but we're good. We're good.
Nah, man, we'll be good. Welcome back to Legends in My Own Mind. Guys, I'm juiced. This is one of the big gets for me, one of the ones I've been looking forward to. And it kind of just came together pretty lucky.
Yeah, man.
So I'm especially excited right now tonight. Guys, I'm sitting with the main event, Casey Jackson.
The one and only.
The one and only. For real, man. So, man, how you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Kind of, I do what I do.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Good, man. So, man, this is Legends in My Own Mind. You're definitely a legend in my mind. You're one of the guys. I've been real excited to talk to you because you're one of the guys who you're one of the original New Midwest guys. Mm-hmm. And, that was its own special thing. But you're also one of the guys who then ventured out and did other stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of went and did some other stuff, and some of the other guys did some other stuff. Some of the guys stayed real local, but you did other stuff than I did even. So I'm excited to, we've talked and chatted lots of times, but I don't know that we've ever sat down and just kind of laid out all the stuff that you've done. So
I don't think so. This might be the first time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm excited. But before we get into all that, man, you were a fan growing up.
I was.
What are your early memories of being what's your first memory of wrestling? Do you have one?
Man, I got a bunch. Probably my earliest would be when my dad's the one that introduced me to wrestling. He wasn't a big wrestling fan, but he was trying to find something to keep me occupied.
Yeah.
And
needed a babysitter.
Yeah, basically. And we were watching. Back then, wrestling would come on, I think, on noon on Sundays. It'd be like Superstars or something like that. Yep. So I would watch Kung Fu Theater at 11. I had to watch my Kung Fu Theater. And then wrestling would come on, and I was just glued. So probably, I probably was like 3 or 4. And just wrestling, that's all it was.
Yeah.
And he would take me to a bunch of events, and I remember probably when I don't know if it was my teens or 20s, I don't remember. He ended up getting me like a birthday gift or something, and it was like a WCW blanket or something. And he looks at me, he goes, "Man, I thought you would outgrow this," but I was like, "You're the one that got me started." Right. And but probably my earliest memory would be, I think it was actually on my birthday. WWF came to Decatur. I don't remember how old I was, maybe 10.
Right.
And we were running late, and I was just, "Come on, Dad, we gotta go. I gotta go see the wrestlers." And we get there, and the first match has already started. I don't remember who it was. I think actually was one of the Ultimate Warrior's debut matches.
Oh, okay.
Was there. He was the Dingo Warrior.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time they had put him out there on the road, so I got to witness that. But anyways, we got there.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That's something you don't think about when you're a kid.
Right.
And then you grow up, you get into it, and you look back and you're like, wow, that's kind of history.
He was just getting started, getting his feet wet, and Decatur was one of the first places that they put him out there, and I was there. But my dad had forgot something, like a camera or something, and he ran to the car, and he was gone for a little bit, and he comes back laughing and kikiing and ha-haing, and I'm looking at him, he's like, "See, man, you out there rushing me and this, that, and the other." He's like, "I was outside for a half hour talking to Hercules Hernandez." He's like, "I ran into him in the parking lot," and so he was teasing me about that, and I was mad, like dang it, and because it was Hercules, it was him and Billy Jack with the chain match, and I was a big Billy Jack Haynes fan, so. There's a picture out there somewhere with me wearing this Billy Jack Haynes shirt, and it's like super tight. It's way too small. But I was, I was doing one of these.
That's how he wore them.
Yeah, and so he teased me about that. So that's probably my earliest memory is when my dad was giving me a bunch of hell about. He got to meet Hercules and I didn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So do you have? So you were a Billy Jack Haynes fan? Like that? I feel like that's not something you hear a lot.
I was, man. I don't know, man. That I used to love when he'd hit that full Nelson.
Yeah.
And, I don't even know what it was that draw me to him. I was a kid, and Billy Jack was the dude, man.
You know, I think the only, as much of a wrestling historian as I've become, I think the only memory I really have of Billy Jack Haynes is at WrestleMania 3, which was against Hercules.
Yeah.
And I just don't remember, man. I know he was, I think he was big in the Oregon area, in like the Portland territory.
Yeah, and I was too young to actually research his career and all that. And plus, there was no internet then, so it was really hard. But I still remember I had pictures of him and T-shirts and all kinds of crap, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Who else was your favorite back then?
Definitely the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
that was my guy, man. That was my guy. I used to have a poster in my room with him, Macho Man, of course Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
but
anybody who was a kid, anybody who's our age, says they never liked Hulk Hogan, they're a liar.
They're lying.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
I was never a huge Ultimate Warrior fan, but that was like, I didn't follow it when I was a kid. I catch WrestleMania VHS, when we rented it at buddy's house. Some of my friends watched it. But I remember watching WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Yep.
And so I was like, Hogan,
I was like,
Warrior kid.
Yeah, I was the only one in the room. I remember watching with a bunch of my friends, and one of their parents got the pay-per-view, and I was the only one there cheering for the Warrior. Yeah, everybody was Hogan. I was like, no, man. I was like, it's Warrior, man. And so that was fun. And then my brother, man, him and I, man, we couldn't wait for our parents to go to work because we'd tear up the house wrestling. We did all the costumes and everything. I was the originator of the hardcore title. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay, all
right. And I'm still undefeated, by the way. I'm probably like 300-0 against my brother. He was the little brother, so I couldn't let him win.
You can't let him win. No. Yeah, no.
He would do the job, but my brother hated it. But I forced him. I was like, no, man, I gotta win this one, man. So I was like, I'll let you win one, but I never did. No.
I'll let you win next time.
Yeah, it was always next time. And then I'd get blankets, and I'd come out acting like it was a robe, and we'd just sit there in the living room and just wrestle, man, all day.
So were you a fan the whole time? Did you ever grow out of it?
I never grew out of it, but there was a point in time where I wasn't able to watch a lot of it because, I was growing up, had to get a job, this, that, and the other. So
girls.
Yeah. So, that took some of my time, but I used to, I wish I still had my collection. I used to record every single Raw, Sunday Night Heat, Velocity, SmackDown. Wow. I had the WWE Network before it was a thing. Like, I used to work second shift, so I would never could see Raw or Nitro or anything. And I would just set my VHS, my VCR. I had a timer on it, set it to record. I had everything. I still got some of those tapes, but in between moving from place to place, they just got lost, this, that, and the other. Got in storage and got damaged or whatever, but it was ridiculous. How many? I used to invest in VHS. Like, I would take my paycheck and I would go buy stacks and stacks of VHS tapes just so I could record wrestling. I had it all labeled, the whole 9 yards. And when I mean everything, I recorded everything. Like, it didn't matter if it was Sunday Night Heat, anything that I can get on TV, I recorded it. I had it all, man.
What happened to it?
Just like I said, between moving, place to place, growing up, I had some stuff in storage, and then it got ruined in storage. And then girls, I had, stuff got ruined.
Yeah, I got you.
So, man, that's my biggest regret is I wish I still had my collection, man.
I threw my collection away. And mine was not that extensive, but I was the same way. I buy stacks of VHS. What I was doing is I hit every video store, and I'd dub everything they had. I'd rip it, dub it, you know, get everything like that. So I had a huge collection. And then I started getting, you know, when I started wrestling, when I became a fan, all the pay-per-views. Now, I never record everything. My thing was I'd always record Sunday Night Heat, the pay-per-view, and then the Raw after it.
I got you.
And so I had all these tapes that were that, you know.
Yep.
But I got rid of mine last time I moved because they were all VHS.
Yeah.
I barely had I had a VHS or I had a VCR, but barely, and they were just heavy. So
yeah, they were heavy, man. I don't even know what if I still had it. I don't even know what I would do with all that stuff because, like, literally, I could probably fill the ring up with all those tapes.
No joke.
It was ridiculous.
Well, you know, it was like we had the network by then, so I was like, I don't need any of this anymore.
Nope, don't need it anymore.
I cherry picked a couple. I have a few tapes left that are things that would not have been on the network. I was like, I don't want to lose these. But they're in storage. I probably couldn't find them if I needed them. Right. And I don't have a VCR to play them if I did. So
right, exactly.
Maybe one day.
Yep.
So you watched all the way through the Attitude Era? Did you come back? So did you come back for the Attitude Era, or were you kind of in and out on the Attitude Era?
I probably stopped right before it, and I didn't necessarily stop. I just wasn't.
It wasn't your.
It wasn't my priority.
Attention.
Yeah,
it wasn't growing up a little bit, high school. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't my priority to be right there.
Right.
So it was probably right before the Attitude Era hit. I think right when they debuted Monday Night Raw and stuff was kind of the time. Like I would tune in, see what it was all about. But like there's a lot of like Raws in their first couple seasons that I don't remember.
Yeah.
And that's probably the time I cut off from it. Yeah. And then, but no, I was there for the whole Attitude Era, everything, man.
So when did you get back in? Was it before or after you started wrestling, or during? I guess.
It was way before I started wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way before.
Right. So what year did you start?
2003.
2003.
Yep.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I don't remember exactly.
2003.
So tell me about that. How do you get started into it?
Well, I've always wanted to like try wrestling, and even when I would go to the live events, I would never get starstruck. I met a lot of wrestlers, man, and I would never be starstruck. I was just like, I feel like I can wrestle with these guys. And there was one particular time when I was 14 years old. Don and I was at a show in Decatur, and the Head Shrinkers came out of the locker room where they was going to the car, and I just ran up to Rikishi, man, didn't care, and I was like, "Hey, man, how you become a wrestler?" And he's like, get a WWF magazine. He's like, there's an address on the back, write to it, send it in. He's like, somebody will call you. And then he paused. He looked at me and Don, looked at us up and down. He goes, you two could be the next minute on a mission. So, I was just like, really? I was 14, so I was like, really? You
think?
Yeah. You really think I can? So I was just like, man, I need to try it. But there was a time where Bret Hart had came out, and he asked me to walk him to his car, and because he had no security, so he kind of looked over. He's like, and he calls me over, and he's like, "Can you walk me to my car?" And I was like, "Well, hell yeah!" So I got to do that, and it was never one of those deals where I was just like, "Oh my god!" I just felt like I was there. So I was like, I'd have to try this, and but I was afraid to ask my dad. My dad was a blue-collar guy. He believed in 9 to 5. Yep. He didn't believe in those pipe dreams and stuff like that. So I was so scared, and I never did. So I kept putting it off. And there was one point.
And it was tough then, too.
Yeah.
Even if you had asked him, he wouldn't know where
to send me because there was no schools.
Right. Now the schools are easy to find. They all got websites. They're a dime a dozen. But back then, like.
So. One time that gave me the validation that I felt like he would not care. He was always the type of guy that was going to give you a lecture no matter what you asked for. So I could ask for a cup of coffee, and he'll tell me how he had to work 10 weeks to be able to buy that coffee.
Right.
But anyways, there was one point in time where I had the XFL was the first time the XFL was around. Yep. I wanted the football, and I didn't have any internet. I was still kind of a kid, my dad had web TV, and I know. And so I had asked him if I was like, Dad, can you order me this XFL football? I'll pay for it. I just want you to order for me because I have no way to get it. I was like, I need the internet. You're the only one that has the internet. And he went on this big tirade about how he's tired of giving Vince McMahon all his money. And he's talking about his money. And I'm like, I said I'd pay for it.
Right.
But he's like, I'm tired of giving Vince McMahon all my money and this, that, and the other. Because I would ask him for all the pay-per-views when I was a kid. He would do it.
Yeah.
But he was just like, so what made me feel like he would be okay with it is when he said, he's like, why don't you get out there and wrestle? He's like, if you get out there and wrestle, I won't mind giving Vince my money. He's like, because I'll be supporting you.
Wow.
He's like, get your butt out there and do it. And he's like, and then maybe, I wouldn't care about giving Vince all my money. So I was just like, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Man, that's powerful, though. And that's like, he probably didn't think anything of it.
No.
You know what I mean? But that meant a lot to you. Mm-hmm. And it speaks to it, whether he thought anything of it or not, like.
Yeah.
It speaks to, like, he saw more than just, like, my kid fanboying. You know what I mean?
Right. So I was just like, And then, again, I'll put it off some more. 2003 comes. I started researching it and everything. Like, I got to find me a school and try this. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up passing away in June of 2003. And I ended up I was playing semi-pro football, and that's what got me into wrestling because when he used to come to all my games, and when he passed away, I didn't want to play football anymore. During the football times, I was already researching wrestling schools, and I had actually found New Midwest.
Yeah.
And this was before he passed away, but I found New Midwest, and I was like, man. I didn't know they were so close because I was getting ready to head to Chicago and find a school there. I think it was Windy City Wrestling or something, and I was just like, man, I'm just going to go up there and try it. And I found New Midwest, and I was like, well, it's closer. So I would just sit there and watch New Midwest's website. I just stayed, I was moving in silence, man.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there. I never reached out to them or anything, but I would just watch and check their shows and stuff. And I was just like, man, I really need to do this. And I was watching Monday Night Raw one time, and New Midwest commercial came on. And that's what I was like, I'm going. I was like, I'm doing. I was like, this is a sign. I was like, I need. Legit. Yeah, I was like, I'm going. I said, they got a commercial. It's on. So then I just one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna head up there. And then I saw a picture of you, and I had the belt.
Yep.
And I was like, dang, they got a black guy and he's a champ. I was like, this is legit. Right. So I was like, yeah. So I ended up showing up for class, and Michael Sharp was running the class, a couple other guys. Yeah. I don't remember if you were there or not. Don't remember.
No, I was always there. It'd have been a rare night I wasn't there.
You probably were. You guys told me, you can be in the beginners class. We have an advanced class. You guys can stick around if you want to. So I was like, cool. And so I did it, and then the whole time I'm watching the beginner's class, I was like, I ain't coming back. I was like, I'm not coming back. I was like, no, I can't do this. Because, man, when I took them first couple bumps, it felt like I got hit with electricity or something, man. I was like, man, this sucks. So I was like, I don't know about this, man. I was like, man. And then, Don was with me, and it was like our roles reversed because he didn't think he could do it. I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. Yeah. And then once we got to the first night of training, and you guys gave us that free practice before we signed up, I'm over there just quiet, man, just sitting there and watching the beginners class. I mean the advanced class, and Don's just sitting there grabbing me, shaking me like a rag doll. He's like, oh, Kixie, this is the greatest thing ever. We got to come back. We got to come back. And I didn't have the heart to tell him I wasn't coming back. I was like, nope. So I went home for like 4 days and thought about it. And I was like, man, I ain't got the heart to tell Don I'm not coming back. So I was like, I'll give it one more shot. And if I don't like it this time, then that's it. I'm just going to speak up. And came back, and the rest was history, man. Ended up, I think I had my first little deal at the Brawltoberfest or something.
Yeah. So was it, well, before we get to that, was it easier the second night? Like, what changed that brought you back?
I wouldn't say it was easier, but when I took those bumps, they weren't as bad as the first time. Because the first time, man, I went home for those 4 days. I thought about it. I had a headache for those 4 days, and that's the truth. It's the legit truth. Like, I was like, damn, man.
That
I was
bump
like,
headache will wear you
yeah,
out,
man. I had a bump headache, and I was just like, because, that second night was a lot smoother. I wouldn't say it was easier, but it was a lot smoother. And the guys, making me feel at home, and it just made it a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll see what's up.
Yeah. I remember we were a pretty close-knit group at New Midwest. And I remember you and Don, man, when you guys showed up, you guys just fit right in. There were a lot of dudes that came in, and they're like, and I'll be honest, there were a lot of dudes that came in and we tried to run them off because they didn't seem like they had gel or whatever. Yeah. I remember, right away you guys just fit right in, and you were just right there,
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome. So get you trained up, Brawltoberfest. So that was like the Battle Royal, the Royal Rumble that we did every year.
Yep.
Was it like that first night, first time out?
Man, it was just crazy, man. I was just like, man, I looked terrible. I was god awful, but I had so much fun, man. I just couldn't believe I was out there. Like I felt larger than life when I was out there. Yeah. And my mom had came, and that might have been one of the only times she ever came, because her health started going down on her, so she couldn't really come out to any shows. She came maybe to a few, but when I got eliminated, I got thrown way over the top rope. That was scary. Yeah. And first thing she says to me at the end of the night, she's like, "I didn't know Superman could fly without his cape." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It sucked, but man, it was cool." Yeah. Yeah. And then I had, then I came back in November. I had my first singles against JJ Tank.
JJ Tank. Ooh, yeah, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, man.
How was that?
That was pretty cool. I can't remember if there was a run-in or something during that match, but I don't remember if there was a finish.
Yeah, it seems like that would have been about the time. I mean, he would have been like Billy Morgan's bodyguard then,
something like
right?
That,
Part of their little entourage.
Yeah.
So it seems like there probably would have been something.
I was so nervous, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was super nervous to go out there. I mean, I still get the jitters, but like first I remember because I pulled up the New Midwest website because they never told me if I was on the show or not or anything like that. So I was just checking the card and all this, that, and the other. And then they finally posted the card for the November Rain. And I saw Hardcore KC versus JJ Tank, and I thought, crap my pants, man. I was like, they're actually going to put me out there? I was like, I don't know if they want to do that. I'll tell you what, though, the guy that made me feel comfortable and made me feel like I could actually do this thing was, believe it or not, Bradley Stevens.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd he do? How'd that?
He took care of me. Like, I think the next show after November, maybe one or two more shows after November, is him and I in a one-on-one match.
Oh, okay.
And he never really talked to me much in training, so I was really nervous. Yeah. And but when we got out there, dude, it was just, man, he walked me through it, and it was smooth. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I got this now. I got this. Yeah. I think I can gel with this.
He was one of the best, man.
Yeah.
He was talk about a guy, on our level, a guy whose personality kept him from living up to his potential. Mm-hmm. Because he was one of the most natural guys, one of the best. Like,
he was.
I consider myself a very like I was a natural, I mean I've learned a lot and been taught a lot, but I picked up stuff easy, Yeah. And man, he had it right away. You know what I mean? I remember watching matches when I was still figuring stuff out and just being like, and me and him started basically at the same time,
right?
And to just watch. I probably started a little before him actually. And to just watch him like sail through and just the way he picked up and just knew how to do things, man, he was something else. He was great, and great to be in the ring with.
He was, he really was.
That actually that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
So, what's next? What's the next big milestone?
Next big milestone is to get back in the ring, man. It's been a while.
No. I mean from then when you started. So you started. You had your match with Jason. Started to feel like you could do it.
Yeah.
After that, you tagged with Shane Matthews for a while, right?
Yeah, I tagged with him. That was a lot of fun. He might have been my first. He might have been my first tag partner.
I was gonna say. I think we put you guys together pretty early. You guys were great.
Yeah, I loved running with him, man. We actually, when I started going on the road, I was bringing him with me, and we was doing some tag stuff then. Yeah, like up in SCW and stuff. And so I guess the next big milestone would be actually getting on the road.
Yeah. And, what was your first show at?
It was at SCW in Iowa, Scott County Wrestling.
Okay. Up there with Jake Manning, right?
Yeah, Mr. Elite. He's the one that got us booked up there. And I remember when before that, I remember Rip Mystic coming up to me and saying, "If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get booked in other places, and you're going to like go here and here and here." I didn't know what the hell that meant. But I didn't want to tell him I didn't know what that meant. I was like,
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean booked in other places? Like, and I'm like, I literally thought it was going to be New Midwest, and then if I got seen, I'd jump straight from New Midwest to like the big leagues.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was indie feds, man. I had no clue. I had no clue. As much wrestling as I watched and paid attention to, I had no clue about indie feds.
Okay.
And so when Rick Mystic came up to me and said that, I was just like, okay. He's like, man, you'll be able to go to Chicago, and I'm just like, what's in Chicago? I was like, I didn't know, man. I was like, okay. So I downloaded that information and stored it, and then it came back. And once I went up to Iowa to do the Scott County thing, that's when it came back to me. It's like, this is what he was talking about. Like, I can go other places and do this instead of just New Midwest. And I remember Real World Jeremy. He was pissed. He didn't want me to go, and I was just like, I didn't know what that. I was just like, why? I was like, I'm going, but he said something like, "Oh, they're gonna steal you from us," and I'm just like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
I'm like, but like, I was still learning all that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm nobody gonna steal me. I'm like,
I'm just gonna go have.
I was like,
gonna go have a match with Mr. Elite, man. What
right?
up?
I was like, I'm not gonna move to Iowa. Like, so.
Yeah, man. I never understood, and to this day, like there are guys that there are people in PWA. There's, I run into it in every Fed. There are guys and high up guys, management guys that think you should be exclusive to them. Like, sorry man, you're a little $20.
Right, right, exactly.
Like, first of all, I'm going to be here whenever I can because I like you guys.
Right.
Second of all, you're a little 20. Like, you really think I'm just going to stay here for your little? No. What is the point? Like, we aren't doing anything. Right. But whatever.
Yeah, it was just,
that was a big push then. It was. And you see it too. Like, I remember when. All the little bigger indie feds, Ring of Honor, and all those places try and sign people to contracts now and stuff. And before, like now, Ring of Honor's on TV and owned by Sinclair Broadcast and whatever. But like even before, when they were just a big indie fed, like when I would hear about them trying to sign dudes to contracts, I'd be like, for what?
Yeah. I didn't understand that either. I was just like, what?
Because people want to feel like Vince, man.
I guess. So
you go to Scott County. How was that first show out?
That first show out was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because the guys, like, I don't remember what my first match was or who it was against, but the guys kind of like, they just, migrated and just made me feel welcome.
That's cool.
Because there was a couple other guys up there that kind of came up there and showed out a little bit. Wasn't real humble, I guess. And they let them know real quick that they weren't welcome back. But we hung out afterwards, and they all just like, dude, you got to come back. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So then I started working up there regular.
Cool.
They brought me back maybe a month or two later for a singles match. and I think it was for one of their titles too. So like my first official singles match there was a title match. It wasn't for the big title, but it was one of the ones they had.
Yeah.
I think it was like the QC title or something.
That's cool.
And so I was just like, I'm still learning this stuff. I'm just like, what? Like, this is all new to me, man. I was like, cool. These guys actually like me.
Yeah.
And so then I started working up there regular. And
that's awesome. Well, that's another thing. The New Midwest guys, I don't know what it was, man. And not to toot our own horn, but there was something different about all the guys that came out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere we went, we were like the real deal. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And we trained a lot, and we had we took it real serious. We had fun, and we took it serious when we were training.
Yep.
But everybody came out there. It seemed like everywhere else we were a step up. Just right off the bat. I don't say that to be conceited. I mean, that's because the same type of thing happened to me when I first started getting out there.
Mm-hmm.
Every Fed I go to, like the first time I show up, they kind of be like, "All right, good luck. Here's this guy."
Yeah.
And then I go have my match, and when I come back, they're like, "Oh man, you got to come back.
Yeah.
You got to do this." And
Yeah.
oh man, and then they put you against their champs or whatever. Put you in the spot.
Yep. It was a fun time, man. It was real fun. So I was doing that for a minute, and then I don't know where I went after that. I know I did some stuff down in Carbondale area for All American Pro Wrestling. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So All American, where was that? Because All American. I think we were talking about All American recently. I never.
Sean Chambers was the promoter. They ran like West Frankfort, Carbondale. Where's the other? I'm trying to think of their main place, because they kind of ran. He was real old school and kind of ran like a territory.
Okay.
So he would do all the surrounding towns around West Frankfort.
Okay.
So he would do all of those, kind of like if you were around here, you do Springfield, Decatur, Lincoln. He did all the surrounding. So it felt like you were traveling. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it felt like, because you were always in a different town every time you'd come up there. He would recycle those towns,
right,
but
yeah. There's like a loop.
It was like a loop.
Which is what the territories did. They had their Lexington on Monday, and then they made their loop, and then they were back to Lexington again.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was super, super fun.
That's cool.
So I started doing that, and and then things just started coming together one after another. People were calling me up, and I was go here and go there, and it was awesome.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So, what were some of your big any big milestones on the road? Any big matches? Like any big memories you have of getting out there?
Man, there's so many. One in particular that would come to mind is when I started a riot in Iowa, and they about killed me.
Yeah.
But it was I don't even know if you consider that was a milestone, but it was fun. It was fun. It was a little town called Sabula, Iowa. Okay. Never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of Sabula.
Yeah. It was like 5 hours from here. Bobby Houston, I still to this day think he set me up.
Yeah.
But he called me and Don, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I got this idea. Why don't you guys come up here and run as a tag team?" And he goes, I want you guys to be heel." So when I heard that, I was like, "Okay,"
yeah.
Because I don't think I ever worked. I may have worked heel very, very like short time.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I really didn't have a long time as a heel. I was always babyface, so I was just like, "Oh hell yeah!" And then he goes, "It's an adult show," so he's like, "You guys can do what you want." He's like, I want to give you guys the mic, and you just talk, and come piss these people off and have a good time. So I was like, okay, and ran up there, and it ended up being like a biker rally. So there was a legit like 600 or 700 like bikers, man. And I'm like, "You sure we supposed to be here?" Because I've never even heard this town.
Right.
And we pull in, and it was me, Don, Ruffington, I want to say Donovan Kane,
Okay.
and then Eric Logan, I believe, was with me.
Okay.
I don't remember, but we had some guys from the New Midwest also. And long story short, we get there, and as we're coming in, they let everybody in, but me and Don, man, they were like, "You guys, are you guys supposed to be?" And we're like, "We're part of the show."
Right.
And they're like, and I'm looking like, "What the hell?" So they're like, well, "What do you mean you're part of the show?" I was like, "We're wrestlers." I was like, "That ring down there," because we was up on a hill.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You see that ring down there?" I was like, we're wrestling in that tonight." And they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." So finally, I had to get out the car and get my gear out of the trunk and I legit pulled my tights out. I was like, "You see this?"
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my outfit. I'm on the show." And they were like, "Okay," and they let me in. So I was just like,
that might have been your sign.
that was my son. And I was like, "Dang." So I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I'm going to have some fun with this then. I was like, they want to play that game, I can play that game.
Right.
So our locker room was a school bus. And it was like from the locker room all the way to the ring, you walked a long way.
Yeah.
It was a super long way. So I was like, dang, okay. So we get out there and he told me, he goes, you guys can cuss if you want to. And I was just like, okay, I might do that. But I didn't even get that far. I grabbed the mic, and all I say was, I need you hillbillies to shut up because I got something to say. And they went off.
Yeah.
They went off. And so the whole time, man, they were trying to rush the ring. Man. They were yelling KKK. They were doing it all, man. But I was kind of eating it up because, I was like, okay.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yep.
So, I was talking my stuff back to them, and it just, man, people were grabbing me. They was threatening to stab me. I had to boot an old lady to the third row. But, I had to do what I had to do.
Right. What else can you do?
We're doing our deal, and the baby faces chasing me around the ring, and then when I slide in, someone grabs my leg. I'm thinking it's the guy I'm wrestling, and it's not. I got two people on me trying to literally pull me out into the crowd. Man. And so I gave him multiple chances. I'm like, let me go.
Yeah.
And so finally, I just had to, mule kick him, man. Just bam. And so that even turned the volume up even more.
No doubt.
And they were, this guy, come on, MF, come on, trying to be tough.
Right.
And I'm sitting there trying not to laugh, man. I'm like, come on, man, this can't be serious. So we got through it, and it was cicada season, so the entire ring was covered with cicada bugs. So we was bumping all in that. So I'm sitting here with bug juice on me. I got bikers trying to stab me and kill me. So we got through that, and security. Props to the security team, man, because there was only like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
And they formed a ring. They formed a ring around us and walked us back to the locker room. And those guys were trying to come in there, and the security was literally tackling those guys and just throwing them, man. And I was just like, wow. So then they come and they were like, we need the keys to your car. We're going to pull your car around and get you guys this way. And then they're like, no, we're not going to do that. Because if they find out what car you guys got, they're going to tear up your car.
Right.
And I was just like, well, how the hell am I going to get out of here?
How are they going to chase us?
Like, how am I going to get out of here? So finally, man, they got the cops to come and escort me and Don out of there. And so, like, we couldn't even stay for the show.
Right.
They were supposed to have a wet T-shirt contest afterwards, and I was kind of like, I'm here for that, and couldn't stay for that. They told us we had to leave.
Yeah,
and
no
I was
doubt.
just like,
all right.
I was like, all right. So we left, and it was it was probably like, I don't know, 2-3 months later, they asked us to come back, and I said, I'm there. I said, I need my revenge, man. Right. I was like, I'm not getting kicked out this time.
Can I stay for the contest this time?
Yeah, right. So we went back, and the second time around, it was a college crowd, and they freaking loved me. So I was like, man. I really wanted to go there and see if I could turn it up even more. I was like,
really get them going.
Yeah, I was like, I might die, but it might be worth it. Right. So, yeah, that was cool. just a lot of guys, a lot of promoters just like putting their trust in me, like because I wore titles for their Fed and stuff, and it was just a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Whole lot of fun.
What's some of your what all titles? Do you have any memories of winning titles, holding titles?
All American Pro Wrestling tag titles was always sacred to me. I don't think I ever won anything in Scott County.
Yeah,
I don't think I did.
Scott County was kind of tight knit. I mean, they welcomed a lot of our guys in because Jake was with them, but they were kind of tight knit like New Midwest.
Yeah,
and it seemed like they kind of kept theirs amongst them.
Yeah, I had a lot of title.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I had a lot of title matches, and I got to work a lot of their big guys and stuff, and so I had a super blast there. They put me in a clique, and that was fun running with the Masterpiece Conspiracy. We got to ride in limos and come in we would come into the arena in the limo.
Yeah.
They'd play the music. They had this venue with this huge garage, and the garage would just lift up, and the limo would come in, and we'd come out like
That's
we were
awesome.
man. We was all suited up and stuff. So we was called the Masterpiece Conspiracy. I loved that.
Who else was in that?
It was.
You remember?
Man, I don't. I got the DVDs at home. I got all the DVDs at home. I'm going to have to look that up. Mark Storm was our manager.
Okay.
But I don't remember who was in the clique. I think I might have brought Shane Matthews with me.
Yeah.
He might have been with us. But man, we'd be all, when we come in for promo time, we'd come in and come in that limo and get out like we were $1 million, man.
That's
so
awesome.
that was fun. And it was so weird because we had to ride around town like 10 minutes before the show started because we just couldn't sit there with a limo, so we had to ride around town. But that was pretty fun. So
that's cool.
So I got to do that.
So the All American Tag Titles that you said those were sacred.
Yeah.
You remember winning those? Who'd you win them from?
I want to say we won them from what was the name of the team? I know it was Axe Allworth and Homicidal Stephen Davis. I just don't remember. I don't remember their tag name, but they were really, really old school. Yeah. Speaking of a moment there, I think we had to work them again. And like I said, Sean was real old school, so he ran a heel locker room and baby locker room.
Oh, that's cool.
And like if you weren't there and before they started letting fans in, you had to wing it, man. Yeah. You weren't allowed to talk.
That's awesome.
There was a point in time.
I love that.
It was nice. There was a point in time where and me and Don was running late, but we didn't think nothing of it because we were always. Now I'm not trying to sound conceited or nothing, but we were always at the top of the card. Yeah. We were either pre-main or main event or super close to that. Almost every show. And we didn't take that for granted or anything like that. Right. But it was one of those deals where I got off work late, we were running behind. So I'm like, it's cool. We're probably later in the show anyway. So
we'll
it's
get there.
Cool.
We'll have plenty of time.
Yeah. We're probably like an hour away, maybe a little less, maybe 45 minutes. Sean comes calling. Hey, man, where you at? I was like, we're on the way. We're about 45 minutes out. Well, I need you to get here because you guys are opening the show. And I said, what?
Of course.
And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh. So I had to punch it, and we are walking in the building, and they're singing the national anthem. Yeah. And so I'm not dressed or nothing. And I was like, well, who are we working? He's like, Stephen Davis and Axe Allworth. I was like, okay, cool. So the ref comes over, tells us, who's going to go over whatever. And then I'm sitting there lacing up my boots, and they go out and cut a promo to buy us more time. And, we're literally putting our stuff on and barely got enough time. I thank those guys for doing that promo because I don't know. Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. We didn't even know we was working them, so obviously we didn't have anything worked up, which is how I like it anyway. Yeah, that's the way I do, man. Yeah. So we get out there, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the best matches I ever had. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. Ever. It was so much fun, man. We just went out there and just tore it up.
That's awesome. That's the best match.
One of the best matches I ever had.
When you can get in there with guys who can...
It's in my top 3.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What are your other 2?
I don't know. I really don't, but it's in my top 3.
Yeah.
It's in my top 3.
That's awesome.
That was
fun. You remember who you dropped those titles to? Did you hold them more than once?
We held them a couple times.
Okay.
I don't remember how often. I don't remember who I dropped them to. It might have been the same team.
Yeah.
And then they started running TV deals, which was awesome.
Yeah.
They would have a weekly show. They'd come in and film, and they would start. And it was showed locally during the afternoon on local cable channel.
That's awesome.
So that was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that stopped that was they came out and told them that we had to figure out a way to do closed caption, and couldn't figure out how to do closed caption, so they had to end the TV deal.
That sucks.
That was horrible.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they lost their TV deal, was because we couldn't do closed caption. And I understand.
Right.
I mean, there are some fans out there that's deaf and stuff. So, I mean, I get it, but it just sucks that that's how it ended.
Yeah. That's always how it, man. Some little technicality. It seems like that's always how it is with wrestling.
Yep.
You know, something little. You know, just as you're starting to get some steam, it's like, hey, you got to do this. Like,
I know, and they had a lot of steam, man, because they had sponsors coming in, and you know the Harley guys.
Well, shoot, that's like a legit territory, man.
Yeah,
you have
man.
a TV and then run your loop. That's crazy.
It was great. So that was cool. Got to do a lot of TV stuff.
Okay. So after that, so what's the next milestone? Get out. You've been running on the road for a little while.
Running on the road and just I was just trying to work wherever I can, man.
Yeah. Any other road memories?
Just going to, I don't know. We would always run into something, man.
Yeah.
Always run into something.
For sure.
And,
What about I know you ran some of your own shows.
Yeah.
So what took you to that?
I wasn't trying to like start a fed or anything. I just wanted Decatur to have something, and I was trying to bring something to Decatur.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Decaturans would come over to Springfield and watch those shows, but I was just like, man, there's nothing to do there.
Right.
So there's a point in time where I was just like, I wonder if I can run a show and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And it was just gonna be I was just gonna be one little show, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll do it like once a year, be the annual thing. And so we did that, and we ended up like the first night drawing like 300 people or something. It was super cool. And then, you know, to this day, it's been probably like 10 years since that happened, and I still get people coming up asking me when there's going to be another show. Yeah. I still got people that's like, when there's going to be another show here? And I'm just like, you guys really want that? And I'm like, we could. So, yeah, I think we ended up doing like 3 shows. I didn't want to do any like titles or anything like that, because the plan was not to start a fed. Right. It was just to have something in the Decatur area.
Just a wrestling show.
Yeah,
live
just live wrestling. But the Dom was all about trying to give it a name and titles, this and that. So I was like, okay, whatever, we'll do that. So we ended up doing that, and we wrestled Old School Thunder. That's their name.
Oh,
that's their name. All right. Axe Allworth and Homicidal Stephen Davis, Old School Thunder.
Okay.
We almost started another riot there. We did a dusty finish with the belts. And that was pretty cool. Mad Mama and everybody went crazy. So I think we ended up doing like 3 or 4 shows before I don't know, did the Masonic Tipple first. The guy gave us one price, saw how much we drew, tried to jack up the price.
Right. Of course.
So I was done with that. So then I ended up getting with the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And we did some stuff there.
Yeah. You know, the thing that's ridiculous about that is like they always think, you know, they always think like there's so much more than there is. Like, even if there's a bunch of people, you know, they're like, oh man, well these guys must be the WWE,
right? And I'm like, do you guys not realize I was only charging $5 for these tickets? Like if they're $5 a pop, man.
Yeah,
we weren't making all that change,
right?
And So then there was another Fed that tried to like come in and take over. I don't know who it was, but they tried to come in and take over, and I'm just like, I'm not running, like, I'm not starting a Fed.
Yeah.
But they saw
a couple shows.
They saw how good we drew. So they's like, okay, there's money in Decatur and blah blah blah. Yep. So another Fed tried to come in, ran in our building, only drew 12 people.
Right.
And then they never came back, and that's when I decided I'm not gonna run any more shows because this is stupid.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm just trying to bring some fun for the kids, because there's like I said, Decatur's boring.
Yeah.
We don't have Sky Zone or none of that stuff, and a lot of those kids can't really travel anywhere. So I was just trying to bring some entertainment to the town.
Else. Yeah.
Yeah. There was one point we ran one show where WWE was in Bloomington. I didn't know they were going to be in Bloomington, or I probably would have picked a different night. But we still drew 250.
That's awesome.
And I was like, man, especially with those guys right on the road. Yep. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's legit.
Yeah. So we ran those. So that was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, because I remember when you were running those shows. That was a while ago. Mm-hmm. Then anything between then and PWA?
Just went back to doing the local stuff, and then PWA did come calling.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, man. I should have. I'm not the type of guy that will. I don't know why, but I'm not the type of guy that will like
chase a booking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't go and beg to be on a show or this, that, and the other. I just kind of sit back and
Yeah.
And
you see, that's how I am, man. You see what I do.
Yeah.
You either want me or you don't.
Or you don't.
And if you don't want me, I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was following PWA, and I'm just like, man, I wonder if those guys are ever gonna call me. I'm like, come on, man. Because I was still looking to get some work in, and then the guys come calling one day, so I was like, cool. And it was when they had the building where the locker room was upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, that was when I was running.
I
knew who I wanted.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I started there, and even then, it felt like I had to like earn my keep, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because any new place I go, I don't care who I know in the locker room. I still try to earn my stay. So, I definitely started from the bottom up, and worked my way around there. So that was kind of cool. I'll still never forget the. I did a horrible promo before a match.
Yeah.
And you and Danny gave me so much crap for that. You're like, come on, you can't do any better than that. And I was just like, I'm sorry, man. I was like, I don't know. I don't even.
I don't remember that. I was gonna say, what was that?
I remember. We were doing the promos in the locker room, and I don't even remember who I was facing, but even I knew it was the most ridiculous promo ever, and you and Danny just look at me. You was like, "Are you serious?" And I was just like, "That's all I got, guys. That's all I got, man." And so I was like, "Man." I look back at that. I was like, "What was I thinking? I should have did another take or something." But I was just like, I don't know if I just didn't care or what. But I was just like, "Yeah, man." But you guys didn't. You let me know that it was bad.
Yeah.
You guys let me know that it was bad. And I think I needed that, though, because that made me realize, like, man, I got to turn this up and get in gear, man. So then I started coming to the when PWA was running some training.
Okay.
I started coming up there, and there's always stuff on the walls, like stuff people would write down and everything. Mm-hmm. And I remember like guys would come in and put their goals of what they wanted to do in PWA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And mine, I kept it to myself, but my goal was to win the title in PWA. And Danny kept saying, I kept staring at that billboard, man. And Danny said, "Put it up there, Casey. Put what you want up there." Yeah. He said, "Put a goal." And I was like, "Nah," because I didn't want to put it up there. And I know you aren't going to like give anybody a pity party,
right?
So even if I had put that up there, you weren't going to give it to me just because it was up there.
Right.
But my mindset was, I don't want to put it up there because if they see it, I don't want to feel like they gave me the title because I wrote it on the wall.
Yeah.
So I never put anything up there. But
Okay.
that was in my mind. It's like, I really, really, really want to win that belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take? How long were you in there before you got there?
Man, probably about 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I mean, I know we ran a while.
It was probably about 4.
Yeah.
Tagged for a while, and then went singles, and then from the singles, kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah. Well, I remember wanting, you know, I mean, you and I had you and Don, and I tagged you up, and you guys are always super over, you know, and great to work, you know, and part of that was wanting to have you guys to work, you know, for Attitude Inc.
Yeah.
And because I mean, we did so much at Glory, and it was always cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was
I think
easy.
we also needed to because I'd had Benz and Logan together for a little while.
Yep.
And I think Logan was done, so I needed another face team to come in and run. And I remember having you guys in that spot, and I remember. You know, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but I remember knowing how good you were, you know, and almost like I didn't know, and this seems silly to say, and I don't know, maybe I hope this isn't offensive, but like it was almost like I didn't know how to get you out of Don's shadow a little bit, you know. And
yeah, you're not the first one that said that. So yeah.
Okay, you know,
yeah.
And you know, I mean, we could watch and know who's propping up that team. You know, like especially in the later days. You know, he was having some health problems and working a little bit, and you know, just being like, man, we need to get him out from under that. You know, because Don. I mean, Don could work. Yeah, there were lots of guys we could put Don in the ring with that could prop him up in singles. You know, just as easy. We had a real good locker room. So it was like, you know, well, how do we pull him out there and get him out away from that? And then we did, you know. I mean, I remember seeing you in the main event, like when we split that up. Like I know where both these guys are going. You know, Don's gonna go be that Don can go be in that Undertaker spot where he's just over here, and I'll create villains for him.
Yeah, right, right.
Like, that's what I did. You know, that's what I did with Phage. Like I remember finding Phage and being like, hey, you wanna? Because I wasn't too sure about Phage at the time. But I liked his look, and I was like, "You want to come in? I need 6 months for a Madman villain, and we'll see what happens after that." And he was like, "That sounds awesome." Yeah. But I knew when we split you off, I knew where you were going. And I feel like, you know, I almost felt like when I put you, because your run kind of came with Derek's, and Derek was still young then. Derek's still young now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So I knew you'd be ready for that. I knew you'd be a great vet for him to work. But man, I feel like you guys, and I'm kind of filibustering here. I'll let you talk in a minute.
You're good.
You know, I kind of feel like it was almost like you guys ended up with such good chemistry, like right away. You know, I kind of felt like it was, you know, peanut butter and jelly, and like, you know, and gave you that research, like kicked it off better. Like I knew where you were going, I knew how good you were, and then you got with Derek, and it was like, man, this is perfect. You know, this is the springboard. This is exactly what we needed.
It really was, man. It was awesome to work with him. Like we just clicked, man, and just fed off each other, and the chemistry was there, and we beat each other up. And it was some good times. Yeah.
Any good memories? Big memories working with Derek?
Man, we would just we knew that I knew it was going to be a tough day a tough day coming to work, but at the same time it was going to be an easy day at work, and we would just like we didn't really have to talk much, like, you know, we just knew each other's like deal. And we would just go out there and just work it, man. It was every single match I had with him was fun. throwing him off that scaffolding.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that's the one I remember,
scaffolding.
man. That bump off the scaffolding.
Yeah. Like, I remember he told me to do it. I'm like, are you sure? Like, yeah, man. Go. I was like, all right. I was like, it's you, not me, man.
Right.
So
that's a young man's bump.
yeah, it was, man. For real. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I was just like, I was like, did you recently watch the Hell in a Cell match or something? Like, why you wanting to go off this thing? And
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, and I was like, cool. Not to rewind, but that just brought me back to another memory. Was coming in and winning the New Midwest title for the first time.
Oh yeah.
At the warehouse.
Yeah.
Justin was running New Midwest at the time, and I was gone for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember why, but I was just gone for a little while.
Because Justin was running it.
Probably. And me and Shane Matthews had broken up, and I think that was one of my first times having a big heel run too.
Yeah.
Like when I first turned heel and gave it a go. But they brought me in, and he was like, we want you to take the title from Marvel, and that was Marvel's request anyway, so because I think he was going to hang it up, so we ran that. And I still remember when I don't think we ever came up with anything either. We was just like, I'll just see you out there, and Marvel's like, we're going to go hard. I was like, okay. And
that's the only way Marvel did
it. So show up, do that. I think they put me with Dempsey. He was my manager.
Okay.
So we come out there, and I turned on him.
Right.
And I remember doing the face-off, and he slapped me so hard, and I was just like, oh, it's gonna be that type of party. So man, I was seeing stars.
Yeah.
And so I gave it back to him, and blood started dripping out of his nose, and he does this, and he kind of I think it triggered something because his eyes got real big, and he knocked the hell out of me, and it was just a fight.
Yeah.
And I still remember when it was over, I won the title, and we got back there, and Justin comes back and he goes, okay. He's like, not what I wanted, not what I was looking for, but it was good. I was like, okay, well, as long as he accepted it. But,
right.
So that was another good memory, was coming in and doing that, and giving him his send off. So
that was awesome.
Yeah. But running with Derek, man, that was some of my most fun times.
Yeah.
During that run. During that title run with PWA.
Well, you ran with Derek. I remember this because it was a little more recently. You ran with Derek. You were the champ then. Then you got another run. Mm-hmm. And were you because you were with President Archie.
Yeah.
And kind of had the corporation gimmick. Was that the second time? First time? Was that the whole time? I don't. So here's the thing. I remember.
I think I was with Archie the whole time.
The whole time?
Because when I got introduced, when I did my heel turn, was when I screwed Roscoe out of the Oktoberfest. I came in as the 31st man.
That's right.
And Archie introduced me.
Okay.
So I believe I was with him the whole time.
Okay, that sounds right. Mm-hmm. That sounds right. Well, I remember specifically like.
Because then the next show I took the belt from Derek the next show, and that's what started our feud.
Yep. And then there was a third time, right? And that third time, because you're the guy, man. You're it,
It was fun.
Yeah. And that one ended with Cardini. Run or Jake? No, Jake.
It was Lander.
It was Lander.
It was
right?
Lander. Mm-hmm. Because he took it from me at Spectacle.
Is that the last? That's kind of the last thing. Kind of the last thing you did.
It was. It
was close.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you had some other matches, but
it was. I think now when Cardini, when he won it, was that in the triple threat with me, him, and Carrot?
Yes. Well, that was a 4-way, right? No, you guys did the triple threat, and then there was Mm-hmm. Were you the champ in the?
I don't know. I don't know if it was me or Carrot. I don't think Carrot was the champ. I might have been, and that's when Cardini took it.
Yeah. So I think did we give it back to you? No, maybe it was Cardini. Man, it's.
You know what? It might have been a 4-way. Was it? It could have been. No, it was a triple threat. But was Lander in there?
So we did the triple threat, which was you and Carrot and Cardini.
Yeah.
And then we were going to do the rematch.
Yep.
But the rematch is when then we brought Lander in and made it a 4-way.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So, but you main evented a spectacle with Lander.
Yep.
And he took the belt.
And then
I don't think he was ever able to defend it.
Right.
I think he ended up having some other opportunities that he pursued.
I was just trying to remember how Cardini got a hold of that title.
Yeah.
But
maybe it might have been, honestly, it might have been vacant going into that.
Could have been.
That triple threat with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It seems so long ago.
I know.
It was only like 2 years.
Yeah, it was like recent.
But one of those years was the pandemic years, so that counts as like 5.
True.
Ah, man, but that pretty much brings us up to today, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Pretty much.
It's a hell of a career, brother.
A long time, man.
What do you think? What are your reflections? Looking back at it, what do you think?
It was fun. It was so much fun, man.
Anything you'd have done different?
If I'd have done something different, I probably would have put more time in trying to get out there on the road.
Trying to get further out.
Yeah, I'd put more time on the road.
Maybe ask for a booking now and then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This corny as this is gonna sound, one of my goals I wanted to do in wrestling was actually fly to a show. Not necessarily have a promoter pay for me to fly there, but I just wanted to fly to a show to feel like I'm actually getting way out there. You know what I mean?
Yep, I get you.
So I'm like, man, Florida, Texas, where you at? Like, where you at, man?
I get you.
But yeah, I just wish I could. If I'd done anything differently, I mean, I'm talking like I'm done and I'm not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man.
I still can get out there, and I think I got some ideas in the bag, man. I still got some stuff in the bag.
Got any goals you can share? Anything?
Well, the only goal right now is to actually just get back in the ring.
Gotcha.
This is gonna sound weird, but by the time I do come back, I would have had 2 birthdays since my last match.
Wow.
So
it's a long time off.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to find that. Mindset and get back to work.
Yeah.
And hopefully no one forgot about me.
Man, can't nobody forget the main event.
Hopefully no one forgot about me, man.
Can't nobody forget the main event.
But I tell you what, if they did, they'll remember me real quick.
Yeah.
Because I'll make them remember me.
There you go.
So I'm not worried about that part.
There you go.
Because I'll make them remember.
For sure.
But
I can't think of a better spot to cut this episode off.
Yeah.
Because we got 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Casey Jackson. Man, I'm juiced. No, but I mean, I think that's what, we talked about everything. We brought it current, and, what better place if they don't remember you, you're going to make them remember you. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody forgot about you, but boom.
Probably not, but you never know.
For sure, man.
You never know.
For sure. And memories are sure. And again, the pandemic, it's like 5 years ago.
It was, man. It was. It aged a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not me, but it aged a lot of people.
Nah. Well, man, next week I want to come back, and, we kind of covered your whole career this time. So when we come back next week, I want to talk about kind of like how you learned through the career, just dig down into like how you developed and the lessons you took away.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that next week. Guys, thank you for joining us. Man, I'm so bad at closing. We'll be back next week. It's like the 4th time I've said next week.
The future champ will be back next week.
Right here on Legends in My Own Mind.